All right, folks, if you'd all gather around and get within hearing distance, we'll get this party started. Mando. Mando, I can see you. Make sure everyone can get over here and can hear. Mando. Come gather around. All right, can everyone hear me? I'm trying a new audio setup. I want to make sure that's everyone can hear. Oh, good. All right, so we'll give everyone a quick choice. I do have a sad story. It is not a bad sad story, but you have your choice of either the sad story first or the sad story last. What is the general consensus? Does anyone? The other story is a little more inspirational, but not so much sad. The other one is just kind of sad. It's a good sad, though. All right. So we'll begin with the sad story and end on the more inspirational one. The story is called Golden Cheekbones and the Rising Sun, as written by Molly Quinnell. I open my eyes. I am readying myself for the morning. A golden cheekbone lined by the rising sun, beautiful in its simplicity. I touch it. Once, her skin warm under my fingers, as a reminder of how alive we are, how young we are. We are teenagers. Our hands are clumsy, too big for our skinny limbs, not sure of where or what to go, or what to think. These hands hold pens and books and dreams. We discuss the future in vivid colors, full of blossoming hope of what it could hold. Neither of us say it. Our lips tied by the thin string of fear, but our dreams involve each other. Neither of us knows what love means. Our kisses fueled by wandering hands and inexperienced tongues. But I know the lines of her face better than I know the words of my textbook. Neither of us knows anything, but we know each other. We grow, as all things do, messily with anger and lust and tears. She holds the neck of a bottle of beer, her head tilted back, laughing into the night. Her cheeks flushed. She is brighter than any star, and I wonder if I could replicate the jewels in her eyes and make them into a jewel for her finger. I smile, small, and take another sip. I know that she is the one. Our wedding is small but loud. Screams of joy echoing from every lively corner. Her mother gives me a talk. My mother gives me a heart attack. All I can feel is the creases of her hand enveloped in mine, and the sweet press of her lips on my face. I do. You do nothing, she screams at me, waving at the dirty dishes lining every corner of our rotting kitchen. She is tired. I am tired. We both know it's not each other we are angry at, but the bank, the debt, the crushing weight of the tiny house. I bite my cheek. It is both my fault and hers, and neither. She still crawls into our bed and hugs me tight. I still make her coffee in the morning. It is a test we have passed. The first one is a surprise, with delighted screams and happy tears at the start, and terrible screams and pain-filled tears at the end. But she is alive, and our child is alive, and they both nestle deep into the lining of my heart and refuse to let go. Surely my heart will run out of space for any more love. I was wrong. We have 2 more, and it still makes room. The children grow fast, faster than we ever did. They are sickly sweet when young, chubby cheeks and grotty hands, always reaching for something more. A little older, and they're cheeky and quiet and confused. A little older, and they're angsty, quiet, and polite. A little older still, and they're angsty, and quiet. Then comes the dreaded stage, angsty angst and teenagers. A little older, and it's going, angsty and angsty. Then gone, going and angsty. Then gone and going. Not long before the last kisses us both on the forehead and thanks us for the privilege of receiving our love, I hold her hands. Love is not a privilege, I say. It is a necessity. She smiles and thanks us anyway. She was always far too polite. We move into a smaller house, cozy, not cramped. It brings back memories of our first place. Don't talk about that, she says. That place was awful. She smiles more now and fills her day reading books and making bread. I kiss her neck as she makes cookies, and she playfully pushes me away. She thinks I only want chocolate, but her love is the sweetest thing in our kitchen. She takes up knitting, and I joke that she's getting old. She pretends to disagree, but we both know I'm right. My knees scream every time I bend to remove a weed from our growing garden. She gets sick. She survives. I get sick. I survive. She has glasses now, small and oval-shaped, perched on the top of her nose. The kids in our neighborhood call us Gran and Pops. Apparently, according to our son, we have a reputation. I disagree, of course. The only reason she makes cookies for the school children is so that they don't drive their chunky bikes through my nice flowers. So what if I help them fix their punctured tires? So what if she makes them fresh lemonade? So what if we told them, just ask him on a date? He told me he liked you the other day. That doesn't mean we like the buggers. The young men flirt with her as a joke. They say that she's the most beautiful thing they've ever seen. I growl at them, of course, but only because they're right. Our faces are lined with wrinkles now, and my hearing's half gone. She's stooped now, hunched and pinched. Yet every time she smiles, we go back to being young. With those jewels in her eyes, and I fall in love with her all over again. We don't go out to the kids anymore. They come to us. A young man helps her make the cookies when her hands shake. A young woman helps me with the weeds when my knees give. I hear on the news every day about the new generation being lazy, and I shake my head every time. These kids are just growing the way all things grow, messily. I wake up one morning to the sweet sound of birds. I wake up one morning to the smell of fresh grass. I wake up one morning, the sun peeking over the horizon, its gentle limbs stroking our faces from the window. I wake up one morning. She doesn't. A golden cheekbone lined by the rising sun, beautiful in its simplicity. I touch it. Once her skin cold under my fingers, a reminder of how long we had together and how lucky we were. I close my eyes and I let myself slip into the night. That is Golden Cheekbones and the Rising Sun, as written by Molly Quinnell. Just a moment while I get the other one ready on the screen. You right there? I heard coughing. Totally fine. Totally is. The next story. I'm sure we've already lost Omni. Yeah, Omni's gone. That's okay. I'll let this next one lull you to a nice sleep. This is Overswinging, Overspinning, Overthinking, as written by Lucy Gray. I don't know how I ended up here, but here I am on a Friday evening, sitting on a swing. I guess I needed somewhere to go, somewhere to be alone. Or maybe it was just for the nostalgia of the place and time when things were simpler. The summer sky is finally starting to darken. Blue fades into orange and pink. There's still enough light at that playground's jungle gym to cast shadows onto the springy floors, but it's fading fast enough that the parents are calling for their children to take their last trip down the slide, their last minute on the monkey bars, the last jump off the swing. 10 more swings. One parent negotiates with his daughter. They're on the other end of the swing set. With a smile, she surely rehearsed, she counted. 15, and then I'll jump and we can go. I count with them, rocking myself in time as she swings back and forth, higher and higher as she rocks her legs. On the 15th swing, she launches herself off, landing neatly on the springy blue flooring. Did you see how high I went, Daddy? There's a brightness to her. I did. You did so good. He takes her hand, and the two make their way to the parking lot. The last of the families leave with them. I look back to the girl's swing. When the girl leapt forward from the suite, it jostled, rather violently and ungracefully, before settling back into stillness. It was flying high until she left, and now it is barely moving. I wonder if it misses her, if it wishes for more moments like those, or if it's tired and drained. Like me, all the energy fled from my body the moment I sat down here. The hard plastic of the seat digs into my hips, just as it did when I was younger. I'll be a little sore when I get up. If I get up. My brain suggests it impulsively, before exploring. It would be so much easier just to sit here, to not move. Maybe if I'm still enough, I will melt into the swings. Maybe I'll morph into a merry-go-round and become a part of the playground. It would be easier that way. If I were a swing or a merry-go-round, then I wouldn't be feeling like this. Or maybe I would. If I were a swing, maybe it would be like swinging smoothly and high, but creaking the entire way. If I were a merry-go-round, maybe it would be shuddering and thumping on each spin. The thought makes me shiver. Nothing is wrong, per se. I'm functioning exactly as I should. Life is good. In fact, it's probably better than it's ever been. I've got a job. It's nothing exciting, but it pays well. It's most likely worth the stress. My stomach problems have vanished. I stopped eating gluten because it turns out I'm allergic. I feel physically better, but nothing will satisfy the ache for good bread. I've got a wonderful, loving boyfriend who graduated from college and has a job lined up. Fortunately, the job is in his hometown, so he moved back, and we're long distance for the time being. On paper, everything is perfect. All the basic necessities and a good job, good relationship, good diet, everything that constitutes the typical good life is there. A home, TV, books, regular exercise, 8 hours of sleep at night, and a skincare routine. The list on the paper would have had all the boxes checked off. Yet here I am. Thoughts creaking as if they saw back and forth through logic. My heart thumping with every cycle through these thoughts. I would make a terrible swing. A terrible merry-go-round, too. I wonder if the swings or the merry-go-round ever wish they could play on the other parts of the playground. They're all here, bringing joy to children on a regular basis. Would the merry-go-round enjoy a giant slide? Would the swing use its chains to cross the monkey bars? Would they have parents to take them? My dad told me the playground once in a while. He also told me there is a good and a bad to everything. Sometimes you just have to look for it. He said it was a natural balance that meant everything had trade-offs. There is no perfect good or bad. You just pick the goods and bads to suit your needs and compromise on the rest. There's always a trade-off. Except the swings and the merry-go-rounds don't get to pick. They just are. I can't tell if that's better or worse. At least it means they'll never question their life choices. They won't pour their everything into the work and productivity in hopes that it will all pay off. They won't miss parties and chances to nurture friendships. They won't face the balance of fun and responsibility, or the trade-offs of short-term and long-term. Missing delicious foods to save my health. Missing my boyfriend from miles away to save from the pain of breaking up. To save for the future of our dreams. Missing things and working hard now so that one day I won't have to miss anything anymore. This creaking, shuddering feeling will go away. I made my choices. Is my life better off for it? I swing back and forth between the answers to that on a daily basis. Success came from sacrifice, and it feels like I'm doomed to keep repeating the same choice. Sacrifice for safety, for security, for stability. A willing choice. I knew what I was doing. I knew the possible consequences. I just didn't know it could hurt like this. I didn't know that you could do everything right and still feel like swings shuddering once the kid leaps off. Like a merry-go-round, thumping off kilter even as it spins. I didn't know that anxiety can fuel productivity and lead to burnout. But I'm healthier than ever. Video calling my boyfriend every night brings me unaccountable joy to my life. My hard work enables me to enjoy little comforts and helps me grow. It's just a matter of feeling that on some days. The overthinking got me to where I am. I am successful and a mess. But then, what's the point if you give up on happiness now for the hope of happiness in the future? At what point does it stop? Where does the transition start? There I go again, around and around like a merry-go-round. My head may as well be one. What would I change things? No. Do I feel nauseous? Yes. I am so sick of myself. Looking for the good. Searching for a high like launching myself off the swing set, only to come crashing down. Only to find myself back here, right where I started. Back to my creaking thoughts. Back and forth, creaking. Back to my spinning mind going around and around, and my thumping heart bumping with each turn, faster and faster, around and around. Dizzying, centering on how sick I am of myself and the way my brain adjusts I am overthinking, but I am okay. The reminder brings a sigh from me. A sigh, not a creak. I am not a swing. I am not a merry-go-round. I had to face choices in my life, and that's okay. I am okay. I think a lot, maybe even overthink, just a touch. Like how the swings and the merry-go-round don't choose and just are. I just am. I think a lot, and it hurts sometimes. But without it, I would not catalog the good and the bad. At least I can find the bright side. It might be cold out, but at least I am seeing the stars come out. I stop rocking and start swinging as if I could launch myself at the stars. Maybe I'll go high enough, one of them will whisk me away. Stars don't overthink. They sparkle and wink at me as if asking what I wish for. I take a second to think about it. I wish for a moment where the thoughts would just fade away from highs and lows, where goods and bads and just be still. A moment of being grounded, where I am not the swings or the merry-go-round. A moment of rest. The stars flicker as the light of an airplane flies by. They do not reply. I've swung up as high as I can go. I promise myself 15 more swings. Then I will get up off the swings. I count 15 more and launch myself. I fly almost close enough to touch the stars. I land on the springy ground, feet planted and solid. Finally back up on my own 2 feet. My hips are indeed a little sore from the plastic seat. Maybe my brain didn't go quite quiet. Maybe the problems and the trade-offs still exist. But it means there's still some good along with the bad. And for now, that can be enough. That is Overswinging, Overspinning, Overthinking, as written by Lucy Gray.